All right, for part one, to find the vertex, x-intercept, and y-intercept. For a table, to find all three, what you do is wherever there's a 0 on the y, the corresponding number on the x would be your x-intercept. So as you can see right here, that would be your first x-intercept. A y would be when there's a 0 on the x-intercept, and then whatever number that corresponds next to it on the y would be your y-intercept. And your vertex is found when you find two repeating numbers. When there's whatever numbers in between those repeating numbers would be your vertex. For an equation, to find your y-intercept, that's already given, which would be the 2. And then to find your x-intercepts, you would do the cross method. To do the cross method, what you would do is you'd make a cross, and then you would put the 2 at the top, and then this 3 at the bottom. You'd have to figure out what two numbers can add up to the 3 and multiply to the 3. Or yeah, that add up to the 3 but multiply to the 2. And for the graph, that's already given. It's wherever your points are. The y-intercept is wherever this parabola crosses the y. So as you can see here, it'd be -15. On the x, it'd be wherever the parabola crosses the x-intercept. So that'd be these 2 points, and your vertex, in this case, would be your minimum value, which would be down here, 1,16. All right, so to find your factored form using a graph, what you have here is your x-intercepts are already listed. So as you can see, your x-intercepts would be -3 and 5. So to write it out, you would do right down here for factored form, it'd be x minus 3, showing that it's a negative, put that in parentheses, and then x plus 5. That right there is your factored form. And then to find your vertex form is already given because your vertex is 1, -16. All right, your vertex form is going to be x, but since this x is 1, what -1 gets you 0? So it'd be 1. So you put -1, and then it's obviously you're gonna put your 2 right there. That would be your 2 at the top, and then you'd write your y-intercept, which is -16. And that is all 3 equations for a graph. All right, to find the factored form of this, you would do your cross method. So let's see, what times what would get you 2, and what plus what gets you 3. So 2 times 1 would get you 2, and obviously the 2 plus 1 would get you 3. So just right there, you have found your factored form. So let's write it down. 2, it'd be like this, your 2 and your 1. Those are your 2 numbers. So what you would do is you'd write x plus 1, that'd be 1, and then x plus 2 is your other factor. So now you have your 2 x-intercepts, but you're not done. So what you need to do next is, that's not your x-intercept, so you need to find out how to get 0. So what minus what gets you 0 from here? So you put -2 gets you 0, and then your next point is -1 gets you 0. So now you got to find the vertex form, and for that you got to find your axis of symmetry. What is in between these 2 numbers? That'd be -1.5. So that would be your x, but now you got to figure out how to get your y. So you're going to plug this into your x. So to get that, you're going to plug in your 1.5 wherever you see an x here. So let's do that. 1.5 times 1.5 plus 2, and that is how you get your vertex form. So then you could get your 8x from here, because look at this, would be -3x and -5x. So that gets you -8x, and here x times x just gets you x squared. So that is how you get your standard, or your standard form, and that's your factored form. And to get your vertex form, all you would find is where they would repeat. And that would get you an answer of negative 0.25. So that would be your vertex. So then right here, these are your points for your vertex. And where it would repeat would be on the 5, because the 5 is a 0. So it'd be, these would be your vertex points. 4, 1. So what minus the 4, because that's your x, gets you 0. So it'd be x minus 4, have a 2 on top, plus your 1, because that's your y-intercept, and that is vertex form. So to find your factored form of this, what you would do is, you already have 1, so let's write that down, 3, 0. And if you look at the pattern on how the y's are changing, you would know that if you go to 5 next, it would be your next set of 0. So now you have both your zeros, and to make that into factored form, you got to figure out how to subtract the 3 to get you to 0. So that'd be 3 minus 3, and then the other one is 5 minus 5. So now your factored form is already set up just like that. Write that in parentheses. Right there, that is your factored form. And then you could get your standard form from that. So you know now, negative 15 would be your y-intercept just by multiplying these. So we could write that down. And looking at this,